Hello and welcome to this question and answer session with James Child, Project Lead of the Whitehill and Bordon Regeneration Company, hosted by me, Councillor Andy Tree, Leader of Whitehill Town Council, on behalf of the Town Council and ultimately you as local residents. The Q&A session will be in raw format. There will be no post-interview editing and therefore what you see is real. When we were elected in May 2019, we committed to improving communication between the powers that have influence and make decisions on our town and you, the community. We hosted public interest meetings last year with the Regeneration Company, the police, the NHS. Unfortunately, COVID has meant that we were unable to continue these meetings in the near future. However, that does not stop us asking the questions, that does not stop us asking on behalf of you residents, and it does not stop us from seeking answers. A lot of you have posted comments and questions in response to our Facebook social media posts. And I am pleased to say that I asked the Regeneration Company to answer individually every single one. We have posted this response on our website www.whitehilltowncouncil.gov.uk and on our Facebook page if you search for Whitehill Town Council. There are too many questions to ask James in this sitting today, so I will pick a selection of amalgamated questions and challenge him on some of the issues, and he has had no upfront sight of what I'm going to ask him, so this really is in raw format. Welcome, James. Do you want to remind everybody who you are, what your role is, and what you're here to do in Whitehill and Bordon?
Great. My name is James Child. I'm the project lead of the Whitehill and Bordon Regeneration Company. It's a 50-50 joint venture between Taylor, Wimpey and Dorchester to regenerate the former Prince Philip Barracks, which is on the western part of town.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, we'll get started straight away and get straight to the point. When people say houses have been built but the facilities have not followed and they have been let down thus far, whether they've moved into one of the new houses and have come to the town for the first time or whether they've lived here all their lives, what do you say back to them? Because this is something we do get asked over and over again and that people are expecting us to ask you and ask the powers that be on their behalf. So I guess the question is, what do you say back? And what has been delivered so far?
Sure. Well, it was always our intention to deliver a lot of social and physical infrastructure before the first house was ever built and sold. So we spent with our partners, the stakeholders in the scheme, Hampshire County Council and the District Council, we spent £15 million on the infrastructure, social and physical infrastructure, before the first house was sold. And so that includes the new relief road. You have to get roads into spaces to make it allow movement through and around the town. The new Oakmore School is open and we see that, and that's a great success. Some more of the smaller social venues are now open, like the skate park, the Bosque Pavilion and Sports Club, Cafe Hogmore and Beehive, they're all open. And that's all open, and so far, we on our part of the development, we've only sold 120 houses so far, out of the total 2,400 that's coming through, because we delivered everything else first, and Hogmore Enclosure is another great example of that.
Fine. So I guess at this very crucial time, and everything that's going on obviously with COVID, etc., what is happening with the new town centre plans, and what should people expect to be seeing over the next year?
So we were starting the civil engineering works on the town centre probably 9-10 months ago, and that's all about the power and the electricity and the services and getting all the ducting in and the roads. And we have started this week work on the Makers Market, which is the indoor and outdoor market that opens at Easter. And also we're providing all of the parking and everything around the town centre and the new town park and new town squares. At the same time, we've got the new leisure centre opening in early November. I haven't got the exact date, I can't remember whether it's the 9th of November, but the new leisure centre opens on the 9th of November, hopefully. And that's actually all the buildings are coming in the town centre. It's been going on a while.
So just for the benefit of anybody who doesn't know about the new leisure centre and the background, so obviously we've had Mill Chase Leisure Centre.
Yeah.
That's been the sole swimming pool since the Garrison Pool closed.
Yeah.
what is the sort of key difference between the old swimming pool that will be closing and the new swimming pool?
So I believe the old swimming pool had 4 lanes. We're now opening a
Correct.
6-lane pool and a state-of-the-art gym, and also a fitness room in there as well. And the leisure centre is in the heart of the town centre. What we had before was a leisure centre tied to a school. Here we've got a leisure centre at the heart of a town centre, and it will feature and support healthy living and lifestyles in the town. And we've started talking to some of the other sports clubs around Everyone Active about outdoor gyms and all the other things that can come with the benefit of a town centre.
Okay, I guess that brings me on to one of the other questions that's been asked by various people, and has also been asked to me when I myself have knocked on people's doors who live around the Forest shopping centre area, that part of town where Mill Chase was, where Wayford schools are. People are concerned that from their point of view, the town centre is moving, because it's moving from where they bought their house and expected to live near the forest centre, and now it's going to be somewhere else. And there is concern that people in that part of the town feel they're going to be somehow left behind and not part of what's going on in the future. So how do you engage with those concerned residents that they are part of the future, and that they will be able to get to the new town centre, and this won't be an issue for them?
So the town centre is now in the middle of the new town. So once you've developed all the houses in Whitehill and Bordon, both east and west, it's right in the heart of the town centre. So in theory, it's equidistant from the east and the western sides of the town, and so it can benefit the people living on Hogmore Road as much as the people living down near the old Mill Chase School. So that was why the town centre is where it is. The shops and the new shops and cafes and restaurants that are coming into the town centre are in addition to what is currently already being offered in the town centre. We're not trying to draw people out of the forest centre into the heart of the town centre. The forest centre works as it is now. It's privately owned, so I'm not sure what their future plans are, but it has shops and uses there that presumably will stay for the benefit of residents that live around the forest community centre. And the idea is that the new town centre complements and adds to the retail offering in the town. And there's actually a lack of restaurants and bars and shops in this town, and actually it's a great opportunity for more leisure related activities to come into the town for the benefit of this growing population.
Okay, thanks for that. I mean, one of the questions or key questions that we do get asked regularly, and have been asked by members of the public for this question and answer session, is about the fine detail of the town centre in terms of supermarket, cinema, and other facilities. So, of those 3 items, where are we up to? And I think one of the concerns is that there won't be any uptake in terms of shop units, or it will be a ghost town, because you can build a town centre, but you can't guarantee that it will be inhabited by outlets. So what are your thoughts there?
It is obviously it's a difficult time to be talking about a town centre when we're at various stages of lockdown. But we are all at some stage coming out of lockdown and into an environment where there will be continued need for shopping and going out and so on. And we're entirely confident in that. And we've got a good level of inquiries from shopkeepers and cafe owners and bar owners that want to come into the town centre. So we're working with a list of people about who's coming into the town centre, and we wouldn't even be starting to build on that if we didn't have confidence that they will come, because an empty shop costs us an awful lot of money, and so we're only doing this with the confidence that we will deliver something that the town needs.
Okay, so can I just say, sorry, James, just to cut in, because that will be of interest to people. So in simple, plain English terms, if somebody doesn't take up one of the shopping units, you lose money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are fully incentivised to want these shops to be inhabited genuinely.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting point. So.
And it's going to be a new town centre, so we are going to be offering incentives for people to come and start trading. And if the town centre is supported by the people around it, which we're expecting it to be, then it will be a successful town centre. And don't forget that the population of Whitehill and Bordon at the moment is 15,000 people. It will grow to something like 23,000, 25,000 people, And then there are all of the people living within 15 or 30-minute drive time of Whitehill and Bordon that will also be drawn into this town centre. If you get up to 30 minutes drive time, you're reaching out to a population of over 400,000 people. And actually, they're going somewhere else at the moment. They're spending their money somewhere else. We're appealing to them to come into this new town centre, which offers not just a few shops and things. It's offering a destination. It's offering leisure. It will offer health. I'm pretty confident we'll get there on the health. And it will offer other experiences like the cinema or drive-in cinema or leisure destinations or a theatre and so on. And we're working on all of those plans. So the town centre as a destination makes Whitehill and Bordon a future town that everybody wants to come and live in. We won't sell houses unless we've got somewhere that people want to move to. And so the town centre is vitally important to us.
Okay, fine. So I guess I've always believed that we want to bring people into Whitehill and Bordon to spend their money here.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who lives in Liphook doesn't come and shop in Bordon Tesco, they shop in Liphook Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
But you make the offering stronger and people will come potentially here. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think Wilkinson is probably one of the only shops that doesn't exist locally elsewhere and people come into the town to shop there. In terms of encouraging people to come here as opposed to going to, say, Alton or Petersfield, what's the position regarding car parking charges and trying to incentivise people to come and spend their money in our community and hopefully fund, you know, the restaurants and bars and facilities that will serve our community?
So I didn't fully answer the last question. So we're talking to 3 food store operators and we should announce one of those before Christmas with a view to opening in a couple of years' time. They are all working off the population getting to a certain scale to support an additional supermarket, and we're talking to 3 operators on that. On car parking, the intention is that the first 2 hours of parking is free for everybody, and then parking rates will start being charged, but they're all being pegged to all of the other town centres around. But there's no point charging more than, let's say, Petersfield or Alton, because that's a disincentive for people to come into the town. So we are trying to come up with a level of charging that helps pay for the upkeep of the town centre and the car parking and running the town centre and security and everything else, but no more than that.
So what, just so people could be very clear who are watching this, what should they expect in terms of a supermarket announcement, in terms of timescale from now?
So we're expecting pre-Christmas we'll have entered into an agreement with a supermarket operator and that supermarket operator will announce that a supermarket of about 23 to 25,000 square feet in size, in other words a medium Tesco size supermarket, will be coming into the town.
So just to clarify, December 2020 is when we should expect an announcement on this.
That's what we're working to.
And what's the timescale to actually go from that announcement to actually having something built and usable?
So we then have to go through a planning process with yourselves and the district council. So we would work on a planning application, and we would expect to get planning permission summer next year. And then a building process starts, and it's 12 to 18 months of build, depending on how complex the building is. So you're looking at the end of 22-23 for a new food store.
Okay, fine. It's worth just noting that East Hampshire District Council are the planning authority who make the decisions on planning applications, but we at Whitehill Town Council do get consulted, and so we make sure we put across local views, and obviously we in turn consult you, the community, as to what your views are. I mean, that all sounds very interesting. One obviously key area of concern, in fact I would say it's a number one right up there concern, is health provision, more specifically Chase Hospital, Health Hub. Now I think that in itself is too big an issue to handle just as one of many items we're discussing today. There's so much to talk about, and we can actually talk about that separately in due course. But just in simple terms, where are we up to in terms of, I understand the Regeneration company putting forward a planning application for a health hub facility, and just as a summary for people watching, people are asking why do we need a health hub when we've got Chase Hospital? What's going on? What are we supposed to be reviewing? My personal position has always been we should see the ideas that are put forward, and then we decide whether we like them or not. And then I, as an elected councillor for the local community, will fight the community's corner on whatever the community want once they've reviewed ideas and plans.
Yeah.
So what are the ideas and the plans at the moment?
So we have been working with the local GPs and also with Southern Health to try and design a health hub that offers the services that the town needs for a growing population. It needs to cope with a population that's at least 50% bigger than it is today. And the spaces at the moment where those GPs are located is not, shall we say, modern enough, organised enough in a way that meets current requirements within the NHS. So what we are providing is a state-of-the-art modern facility that enables the health provision to expand to meet the growing population of the town. So Badgers Wood and Forest Surgeries, that's one surgery unit, are working with us, as is Southern Health, as are the pharmacists at the Forest and Badgers Wood surgeries, and we're talking to others like dentists and so on to try and offer a range of services within the health hub. So in one location, so people come to one location, and again at the heart of the town centre. So that's why we are. But ultimately, we can't do anything without the NHS agreeing to it. So we are completely in the NHS's hands on this. If the NHS want the health hub to go ahead, we'll follow them. If they don't want it to go ahead, we can't deliver it.
Fine, it was interesting. As I said, if planning application plans come forward, then of course we will share on social media the plans, and people can have their say. We had a public interest meeting, face-to-face meeting with Sarah Tiller, the Managing Director of the local NHS CCG, that stands for Clinical Commissioning Group, last year, and we can do so again. We can have a meeting like this with her to get an update, and we can review the plans as they come forward. I think the bottom line is most people just can't understand, including myself, the bureaucracy in having Chase Hospital, having the promises of the past, having it being seen to be underused, and services withdrawn, and obviously what the future holds, etc., etc. So I think hopefully there'll be much greater clarity so that people can look and make informed decisions, and then and give their view moving forward.
It's an incredibly challenging time for the NHS at the moment, and the plans have to adapt to the new world we live in, including how these practices deal with COVID-19. And so we're into quite a lot of level of detail on layouts and discussions of how the new practices and services can be delivered in a cost-effective manner, because the NHS are offering frontline services that have to be paid for, and we've got to come up with something that's a workable solution for them.
So I guess a final question relating to the town centre is, and the town as a whole, is public transport.
Yeah.
So I mean, public transport is a key issue for me. I only learned to drive and pass my test 2 years ago. So for the entire time that I've lived in Whitehill, Bordon and Linford, I've been reliant on public transport. And I used to use the rolling bus. When that was abolished, going to meetings about trying to protest about it being abolished was how I first got into local councils and local issues. So I'm very keen that public transport is strong for the young, the elderly, working people, that Whitehill and Bordon isn't isolated and links up to the railway network, and is seen as an attractive place to come and live for new residents and works for current residents. Yeah. So taking all that into consideration, what is the current thinking regarding public transport?
So within our planning commitments, we've got quite a large budget for public transport, and we will work with Hampshire County Council, who are the transport authority within the region, to develop plans to improve the current level of services in the town. That includes working with the current incumbent operators like Stagecoach to see how they can expand and develop their services, and talking about certain routes, maybe working and opening later and running later. But that also, we felt that wasn't enough, that wasn't going far enough. So we've decided that we should provide a demand responsive service, on demand if you like, called VOCA, which is enabling people to get from A to B in a relatively good short period of time at a cost-effective bus transport rate, to do the journeys that they want to do, and you literally call it a Uber style if you like. to go predominantly, let's say if you need to go to a hospital, if you need to go to a train station, or if you just need to go out at night, you can call up the service and it takes you there. And we feel that this is an additional benefit to the town that can be offered at a relatively inexpensive subsidy from the public purse, and we're working quite closely with county to deliver this for delivery and opening the service from when the town centre opens in April. So we're quite excited about those plans, but we're still finalising the financial metrics of this, which we hope to be able to announce that it's live and dummy run from next year.
Fine. This year, EHDC shocked the public with an announcement that they want to build an additional 1,300 houses in Whitehill and Bordon. Obviously, that went down like a lead balloon. I myself, nearly fell off my chair when that announcement was made, given the fact that we've yet to see delivery on all the areas that are promised. The press release hasn't given out much details at the moment. It's in early stage. But can you just clarify for those watching, just for the avoidance of doubt, that the intention is to complete the town centre and the promises made before considering an additional 1,300 houses?
Yes, so we have promoted that the town can support additional homes on the understanding that the town centre and all the new facilities that are coming will benefit more people in the town. So yes, we have promoted plans for an increased larger town centre than the current one that we've got planning permission for, in addition to new employment sites around the town, and therefore can support another 1,200 homes in the town. So we're saying again, social infrastructure and shops and things first, and homes will come, and that will enable the town to grow. And we absolutely believe that the town can grow and has the land, brownfield land, to support that growth.
Okay, fine. So to conclude, anybody watching this who, and I'm sure some people will enjoy some of what you've said, some people would not be impressed at all, some people will be sitting on the fence, and some people will be waiting to see what happens next. Yeah. But and I'm one of those people who's waiting to see what happens next. I want to support the positive things that happen in the town, but my job is to stand up for residents and try and push those things through and ask the questions. Yes. So I guess to conclude, what would you say to anybody watching that they should expect to see that's positive in the next 12 months?
So the next 12 months you'll have the new leisure centre opened, we expect in November hopefully. You'll have the Makers Market and the Town Park and the Town Squares opening for Easter next year. Obviously there'll be more houses coming over that period of time, and people are loving moving into Bordon, by the way. We're selling houses at a really good rate compared to the national average. It's a town
that's an interesting statistic.
People actually really want to come here and enjoy living here, but we have to deliver on all these services, and the other side of this is business. We are also about to commence construction, assuming the planning permission comes through as expected in October, on a new 130,000 square feet distribution warehouse for a headquarters building for a national employer around here. So, there are jobs coming as well, and that's part of what we're delivering in the next 12 months.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing more. I mean, as a resident of the area myself, my children go to Oakmore and Wayford. Yeah. This is their home. This is where they're growing up. This is where me and my wife have chosen to live and bring up our family. And I, for one, hope that everything that's promised will be delivered. Yeah. And I want to be part of the process in terms of questioning and asking, and hopefully being part of positive delivery. So
one of the benefits that we have is we have a very long-term view. We're a developer that's going to be around for at least 25 years, if not longer. Because we're committed to not just building and trading and selling out, but we're about owning and running what we build, and therefore we feel that we're as much part of this town as everybody else that lives and works here. And that's probably a bit different for most developers or house builders. They buy a bit of land, 3 years later they've gone. We're here for a good long while, and we're accountable all the way through.
Well, thank you very much. I won't shake your hand because of coronavirus social distancing restrictions, but thank you very much for coming. I think it's worth noting that, yes, I want to hold James and the Regeneration Company and other powers to account, But at the end of the day, James does not have to come here. He did not have to come here today, and therefore I thank him for coming and answering the questions. I thank the Regeneration Company and for James for answering all the questions that were submitted, that will be published, and that you can view on our website at www.whitehilltowncouncil.gov.uk, and if you search Whitehill Town Council on Facebook, and we will do further such sessions. Again, we were always asking the questions behind the scenes, and we always want to give you, local residents, the opportunity to answer the questions and for us to try and facilitate communication along the way. So thank you very much, James, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you for inviting me.